All right, we got to get right into this. Elijah Moore was acquired by the Browns via trade after we left the air yesterday. I literally had to look at this a couple times to make sure that I got it right for what little they had to give up to get him. And I've got a theory as to why that happened, but they essentially just gave up their second but acquired a third.
Yeah, they traded down
30 spots
yeah.
to get, this guy isn't a game changer. Nobody should think he's going to come in here and have a 1,200 yards receiving season. I don't think he's that guy, but he's a great piece. We're going to ask, like it, love it, or hate it.
Can I go somewhere between like and love?
See, that's where I am. I'm as close to love as I can get, but I'm not quite there.
I can't say love because he hasn't played well enough yet to me. I mean, the trade makes a lot of sense.
There's upside.
He's got upside. I think he could potentially be a 1,000+ yard receiver. I think that potential is there. Yeah. If you look at his numbers, first of all, the Jets had nothing but bad quarterbacks.
That's true. Three of them.
But Zach Wilson is like next level bad. So if you look at his numbers with Zach Wilson, they're hideous. Hideous. If you look at it with the other guys, they're much better. Now, I think with Deshaun Watson and the talent around, now the Jets had talent around him. They had Garrett Wilson this past year, obviously. And he's got to do a better job of holding on to the ball. He's had a little bit of a drops issue early in his career. But he's not he wasn't targeted a lot. They were lost. I think he's got really good potential. Not as much as potential as Jerry Jeudy, but I feel like the Browns didn't give up much. Jay, when I first saw this trade, I read it as the Browns were trading a second and third round
pick. So did I, Bull. I read it the same way.
And I was
like, wait a minute.
Right. I was like, I didn't like it.
I digested it. I'm like, it made more sense the first way I perceived the trade.
Right. But for a second and third rounder, I was like, man, the Browns gave up a lot for a guy who's very unproven. It's not even like Jerry Jeudy, hasn't proven he's great, but at least he's proven he's good.
Right.
Elijah Moore has proven at this point he's okay. We think he could be good, or at least I do. And so I love this trade. Plus,
you do love it.
All right, I've talked myself into love because here's another reason why I really like it or love it, because the Browns now have 2 second-round picks, 2 third-round picks, and 2 fourth-round picks.
No, they don't have.
No,
sorry,
let me correct.
2
thirds, 2 fourths, 2 fives.
Yes, yeah. Right.
So in theory, they have ammunition to trade back into the second
first
round.
5 rounds.
They could get back, and you don't want all 6 of those. You don't need that many young guys. You could, in theory, maybe not all the way to 42 or wherever they were, but they could certainly, if they have a guy at 50-something they're targeting, they could probably trade back in the second round. So ultimately, I don't think they lose much, if anything, in the draft, and yet they get a player who's okay with the potential to be good. So I really like it. Yeah.
Okay, so like plus.
I'm going like plus
right.
to borderline love.
I like it. I'm not going to say I love it because why are the Jets moving off of him? Like, that's what I always ask.
Can I give you my theory quickly?
Yeah.
He wasn't on Aaron Rodgers' list.
Well, and that very well could be. And maybe he is on Deshaun's list. But, I mean, the Browns could have gone and gotten Hardman like the Jets did and kept their picks. And obviously, Hardman has a lot more money. He makes a lot more than Elijah Moore.
That's the other thing. That's the other reason why I came really close to loving this, because the financials of it are very team-friendly.
The Jets had all of this, too, and still thought enough to move off of him. And I think they had to move off of him to get the pick to get Aaron Rodgers. So they just created a 2.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah,
yes.
They just created a 2 out of thin air, and they don't really lose, Hardman to Moore, so you still have that piece. Whether one's better than the other, they're close. So you have that piece, and now you have a 2 to be able to go out and get Aaron Rodgers. So I think that's why the Jets
Moore was also unhappy there.
He was.
Yeah.
He was, and partly you said that if you compare his numbers to Wilson, they look awful. Well, when you have bad quarterbacks throwing the football,
no. I'm saying his numbers playing with Zach Wilson.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But okay, my point in all of this is when you have bad quarterbacks, they tend to look for the best receiver all the time.
That's true.
And unfortunately, he wasn't the top receiver
but
there.
if you look at this, even with these other quarterbacks who are not very good but better than Zach Wilson, his numbers are significantly better.
They are.
Yeah.
Right.
But the problem is, I don't think they were looking his way enough, because there was clearly a better option on that offense, and bad quarterbacks tend to look for the best receiver, the guy they trust most, all the time.
I by no means think it's a bad trade. I like the trade.
Right.
They addressed a need. They filled a need. I just remember when they got Odell and everyone was taking victory laps and saying, oh, my God, they got Odell for nothing. Look at what they gave up. And it wound up being, it wasn't as great of a trade as we thought it was. He's a number 2 to 3 receiver for me, Elijah Moore, in this system.
He's kind of DPJ, really, to me.
He's a lot faster. They need someone with speed. He is that guy who can really stretch a defense. I hope he's the guy that can freelance when a play breaks down, and when Deshaun moves out of the pocket, I hope he's the guy that can sort of adjust his route, come back to the ball, because they really don't have that. If he can do that, he's going to have a very good year here in Cleveland.
Gee, I think he's got more upside than DPJ.
I do
agree?
Because you know why? I'm watching him right here. Guess where he keep catching these intermittent passes? Guess where he going to? House. He ain't running around with no 4 or 5 yard button hooks. This guy got the ability to take the ball to the house, and for the first time, the Cleveland Browns now have a playmaking ability. I saw Kadarius Toney. They gave up on him in New York. He went right into the fold over there in Kansas City. He's catching the football, moving around. I saw Sky Moore, second-round guy. He moving around, catching the football, going to the house. We finally got somebody that can give you those type of things. And if you looked at Schwartz, you knew that from watching his highlights at Auburn. He was not a natural catcher of the football. He does not have much mobility in his hips. He's not a change of direction guy. He's a sprint, go one-way guy. I will commend AB on this one because you could have did something that I was a little scared of. You could have sat pat and said, well, look, I'm going to just let this be on Deshaun Watson. I'm going to just let Deshaun Watson's greatness make, other people better and kind of hope and wish that he's back to Houston. You went out and you did something to improve your roster, regardless of what Deshaun Watson is going to do. You needed a speed guy. You were slow. And listen, I love David Bell, but you can't run no 4.6. Tyvis Powell can't be faster than my receivers. No. And he fast by a lot.
Ouch, Tyvis.
Yeah. And Tyvis is faster than him by a whole lot. I like you, we'll work you in, but I need somebody with some punch. Now, Donovan Peoples-Jones is a lot better because now he don't have to run the routes that he don't have to run. Amari Cooper is going to be a route tactician. And now I can get David Njoku vertical, and I still got the play action game with Nick Chubb.
So do you love it?
Hell yeah.
Love it.
I did victory laps, and they got him for free.
Let's not give him free, but
they traded down a couple spots
Guys,
from 2
when
to 3.
you consider how they spent their last 2 third-round picks on receivers, and what they got out of them, and Bell, jury out, fair, but you make a great point. At 4.6, you're not going to blow up all of a sudden in year 2. And Anthony Schwartz, the fact that they were able to get him for essentially moving back 30 picks in the draft, I agree with you. It's not for free, but I think it's a steal, and I think he was available because Aaron Rodgers didn't have him on their list. Also, the Jets flirting with OBJ. I think the Jets are dancing with the devil here. And here's why. They're letting a guy on another team's roster shape their roster. And in all likelihood, he will end up with gangrene. But there's still a chance he doesn't. And imagine where they are if they don't get him.
That's teams that are desperate for a quarterback. It's where the Browns were a year ago.
Right?
They were in the exact same spot. You do whatever it takes
you have to
get
do.
what you...
In the end, I can't call it a steal when the guy's never had more than 600 yards in the first 2 seasons. I can't go steal. Now, it might turn out to be a steal.
What do you have in year 1?
Hey,
500 something.
Hey, when you got Sam Darnold and the Cougar Chaser throwing you the football,
Gee, I hear you. He's got to prove he's a top 3 receiver on a team before I could definitely say it's a steal. I think it has potential to be a steal, no doubt. But we got to see him perform.
Who has more receiving yards next year, DPJ or Moore?
More.
I'll say more.
I feel Moore will too.
And if that's the case, then the trade will turn out to be a steal.
They needed an impact starter at 42, and I've said all along I thought they were going to draft a receiver at 42. They didn't, but they traded for one who is on a rookie contract, who isn't making a lot of money. So not only did they get that impact starter, they did it on a guy who has a track record in the NFL, and he's still on his rookie scale contract.
And he's making like $2 million.
Not less than that.
Making nothing.
The Browns, in theory, could go out and get another wide receiver, too. I mean, they could. I would, honestly, because I don't think you could have enough good receivers, especially because, like, to me, I look at it right now, and we'll see how it turns out if Watson gets back to the guy we expect him to be. To me, and you guys tell me what you think, I think of Amari Cooper as a mid to lower tier wide receiver 1.
I do, too.
And I look at Elijah Moore and Donovan Peoples-Jones as high-end wide receiver 3s.
Got them both in the same slot.
Right? That's what I see.
That's exactly what they are.
So if I could still in free agency possibly,
Come up with
even,
2?
Even if it's not a 2, even if it's another guy.
Is Shark still available?
Yes, he is.
Even if it's another guy like Shark, who's probably another high-end 3.
Right.
Like, if I have enough of those guys, if I can't get the short thing number 2, but I have 3 good number 3s, that'll work.
Yeah.
That'll play.
And you know what I like? I like pressure. I like the fact that he got pressure on him. He left New York. You in Cleveland. You still under your rookie deal. I like the fact that he's going to have to fight for his second contract.
He's playing for a
well.
contract.
And I like the fact that I can now put some pressure on Deshaun Watson. No. See, I put pressure on everybody equally. If you didn't give him no targets or nothing, it would have been, he didn't have the guys. He didn't have get him another receiver, and then you look at him and say, you better go to Cook.
I get that last point, but I'll make a statement, and you guys can agree if you want. I don't see how you can disagree. There's no one in the Browns organization that has less pressure on him than Deshaun Watson.
I disagree.
None.
I disagree.
I disagree.
I understand
He's getting his no matter what.
I understand where Jay's coming
guaranteed.
from.
But that's to denote that he
All right,
does.
Everybody else's job is in the crosshairs.
Let me say why I really agree with these guys, but I get where you're coming from. He has no pressure in that his money's set. And
isn't that really where the pressure comes from?
So there's no pressure at all from that perspective. But if you're a competitor, which you got to believe he is, he got humiliated last year.
Yeah.
Last 2 years, he's been humiliated.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean specifically the way he played on the field last year.
To your point,
Yeah.
if he was motivated by that, he was humiliated when he stepped on the field for the very first time in week 13.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, after the first 11 misses. If he was humiliated enough, he would have looked better than he did. He just was a guy.
Well, you can't. But you can't.
Well, he looked better than he did the first game, but not significantly.
You can.
No.
The game. If I don't do something for a long period of time, I don't care how much pride I got. You gonna get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Like if you don't train, if you don't be in the game, you gonna get beat.
Let me ask you guys this: who's under less pressure on the Browns?
What you mean?
If it's not Deshaun Watson, who is it?
Everybody under pressure. All of them.
Listen, I agree with you. I'm not saying it's pressure.
I'd say Myles Garrett's under no pressure. I'd say Nick Chubb's under no pressure.
Yeah.
Like
Martin Emerson.
Yeah, he's probably
But-
under
but-
no
No,
pressure.
not really. I mean,
But-
Martin's got a contract that will be coming up.
Martin's not making anything. Martin needs paid.
But I think
He has to get paid.
We coming at this from a money aspect. Like these players play to win at the highest level. Like Myles,
they play to make a lot of money.
Yeah,
but-
They got a
agree
very
with you.
short
but-
window
That's
to
the
maximize
basis
their
of my
earnings.
statement right there.
They do have a very
want
short.
the bag.
They want to win too.
But
they
these-
want to make money and they want to win.
The NFL does a good job of weeding people out.
In that order.
The NFL does a good job of weeding people out. You can't play the game of it in the league unless you like it. You got to be the top of the food chain to fake it. Nobody goes out there and lifts them weights. The offseason's
It's
too
because
hard.
the contracts aren't guaranteed, G.
Well, and that's part of it. So,
But his is.
well, here, you got to look at it this way. If you're a quarterback and you're Deshaun Watson and you're as decorated as he is, and he plays the game and
I
everybody
don't
is
think
doubted
he's
you.
as decorated as we're making him out to
No,
be.
he's decorated.
What has he won?
When you take a look at his college career, he is a decorated
No. That was yesterday. Baker was decorated in college too.
Okay, well,
what is he decorated in the NFL?
So he's put major numbers up in this league.
But what is he decorated means he's won stuff.
Decorated means you're a player at a certain level.
What is the definition of decorated?
You won, decorated,
Dan Marino
decorations,
decorated?
trophies.
Yeah,
Trophy.
yes, Dan Marino
Dan is
decorated.
because Dan has the ultimate decoration. He's got a gold jacket.
Okay, well,
So short of a gold jacket, that's
Right, but
the
you said
ultimate
wins,
decoration.
though, but-
I'm saying decoration. Like if we're saying he's this decorated guy, we keep saying Deshaun Watson is this decorated and accomplished guy. Show me.
I
He's
don't know.
putting-
I don't know
he's
that we
putting-
want to dicker
I don't
on
want
the
numbers. I
on
want
the
results.
words.
well, here's the thing. If you want to talk about you want results, then half the quarterbacks in the league ain't got nothing.
Right, you're absolutely right with that.
More than half.
More than half.
More than half. So the thing is,
right.
we all working to get there. Does he give me a better chance than the guy we used to have? Sure.
And I'm fair with that, but this notion that he's this decorated and accomplished guy, I think that's a stretch.
So here's the thing. He's probably at home. He hears that.
I hope so.
That's what we do.
Prove it.
He prove it. Everybody got a chance to
To
make
your
a
point
move.
to AWOL.
Hey, prove it.
Prove me wrong.
Hey,
I
hey,
hope you do.
Hey, that's the goal. Everybody want to have that if you want to get to where you are, it's an easy way that we can do this. When you win a Super Bowl, if you do it in Cleveland, Deshaun Watson, you can tell everybody to go jump
There's no
off a
better
cliff.
decoration he can have.
That's right.
Than a
Everybody
Super Bowl
gotta
ring
go.
in Cleveland.
But
That's
everybody
a
gotta
mic
go.
drop decoration.
It
But
is.
getting back to Elijah Moore, guys, it doesn't always matter where you drafted. Obviously, there's some players drafted later, but he was the 35th pick in the draft. I mean, he was a borderline first-round pick.
Yeah.
The Jets thought very highly of him. I think the Jets traded him for two reasons ultimately, and I don't think it's because of the Rodgers list, because that alleged list didn't have Mecole Hardman on it either. But I think it's two reasons. One, what Jason said is definitely true. They're negotiating with the Packers on this trade, right? Yeah. I think personally what's happening right now is the Packers want the Jets' first-round pick this year, which I think is 10 or 12 or something like that.
It's a good one.
And the Jets are saying, no, we'll give you the first next year. And maybe the compromise is to give them a second-round pick this year. And so they wanted to get an extra second-round pick so they'd still have one.
If I'm Green Bay, I'm not accepting the first next year.
Well,
because if you
we'll
give them Aaron Rodgers and the talent they have, it's not going to be a great pick.
Again, who's got the hammer? We don't know.
Yeah, let's
I don't
ask
know
Jason
if either
that,
team has an option.
Bull asked yesterday, and I thought this was a great question, and I don't know the answer. Who the hell's holding the hammer in that transaction? The Jets or the Packers?
Aaron Rodgers, because he could just retire.
Yep.
He can just walk away and
but
retire.
Aaron Rodgers wants to play for the Jets.
But
he's made that clear,
right.
which I thought was a mistake on his part, but he has.
Right.
I don't think the Packers really have a lot of leverage.
I don't
either.
No.
Because
I don't either, but I don't know that the Jets do either.
Well, they have leverage in the sense that that's the destination he wants to go to.
Well, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Packers and says, listen, you have two choices. Trade me to the Jets or I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Better to get a first pick.
Better to get something.
Than nothing. Then
Yeah.
I'm walk away for nothing. That's why I don't think the Packers really have much leverage in
Nobody's
this.
ever
And
owned
maybe
that
this
principle
second-round
either.
pick ends up leading to the deal. And I also think Elijah Moore wanted out, so they're like, well, Hardman and Moore, they're the same class of receiver. Let's get a guy who wants to be here instead of a guy
Once
who
they
doesn't.
drafted Jordan Love, this was always going to be the outcome. So, you've already prepared for it. I always say, the trade that lingers on, you get less in return. Knock the trade out now.
Pull the trigger. Get it over with.
Get it over with,
Yeah.
rip the Band-Aid off, and keep it moving.
Be interesting to see if it happens soon after now this trade.
Because you don't want, if you're the Packers, do you want Aaron Rodgers hanging over Jordan Love?
You want
He want to be the starter.
Right.
We
They need
ask
to
no
know
questions.
about Jordan Love. Jordan Love has barely played
the
in
guy.
the league.
And they got to make a decision on his next contract already.
Jordan Love has become Aaron Rodgers, what he was to Brett
Favre.
I mean, it's really unfolded almost identically, especially
Yeah.
if he ends up with the Jets.
Yeah, right?
I mean, it's almost like history is repeating itself.
Yeah.
Now watch Jordan Love go on and have a Hall of Fame career and win a Super Bowl. One.
Now, when it comes to the Elijah Moore thing, I was thinking about it. I think there were a lot of people that was willing to go down the route of the Jerry Jeudy. And they wanted a number 2 and a player.
Well, who knows what the Broncos wanted in the end.
That was what was reported.
I still don't buy that they were going to trade him. It just never made any sense. Obviously, you'd rather have Jeudy, or I would, even though it's a higher price than Elijah Moore. But I wasn't really thinking about Elijah Moore. Actually, Mary Kay, kudos to her.
She nailed it.
She just
Yeah, she
talked
did.
about it
She
like
got
a week
it.
or two ago, and she was right. It's a smart trade. I think the thing for the Browns in this trade is it's potentially a steal, right? If Elijah Moore turns into even a 900,000-yard receiver, it's a pretty much a steal.
Of all the moves,
and there's almost no downside here, because even if he's mediocre, okay, you just traded down 30 picks. It's
I
not
mean,
the
look
end of
what
the
you
world.
wasted your 3 on the last couple of years.
Exactly.
Right.
And the production you got out of those two.
Yeah.
Of all the moves that have been made, I'm telling you, I really like this offseason. I think the Browns have, I don't want to say that they've won the offseason, but going all the way back to the defensive coordinator hire, the special teams hire, and all the players that they brought in here.
Yeah, we're going to recap.
Mike
Hey,
is
look, 'cause
yelling
I'm
in
about
Jay's
to
ear
just
right
throw my joint right out there. I think so too, Jay. To your point.
By the way, these two guys were killing the Browns 48 hours.
No. I was not.
The two of you were killing them.
I was
I've
not.
seen
I
G's
was arguing
tweets.
with the two
No,
of them.
the
Duke
only
and
thing-
knee-jerk.
I was not killing anybody. What I said was,
Let
I'm
you Bush
giving
go.
Andrew Berry a C- for his TAS. That's a new phrase that we've coined here. Talent acquisition score. For his entire time with Cleveland, free agency, trades, and drafts, I'm giving him a C-. That's where I've been critical. However, in a vacuum, this offseason, I really liked.
Go ahead, G.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Now Mike's yelling at G.
Tell her, don't you say nothing.
Save it for tomorrow.
Are we talking about Anthony
Save it
Walker?
for tomorrow.
Or are we doing that later?
No, I got one more question for you guys on Moore. We touched on this a second, and real quick. I'm curious if there's a line out yet for Elijah Moore's receiving total this year, and I'm sure if there was or is, it'll be on BetJack Sportsbook because BetJack is the place for Ohio sports fans. Sports betting is live. You can download the BetJack app today, so you'll be ready to go in on all the action.
Yeah.
BetJack, it is Ohio Sportsbook. When you look at the skill sets, and G, you kind of touched on this a little bit, I'm curious what everyone else thinks, of Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, DPJ, and Njoku as your 4 top receiving options. How well do their skill sets complement each other, and do you think the Browns are done adding to that free agency room?
They complement perfectly. But when I saw it, because here's the thing. Even with Jerry Jeudy, Jerry Judy's a little more Cooper. He's a little more DPJ. I think he just has more wiggle. But the body types are the same. A lot of their skill sets overlap. When you get Elijah Moore now I got a big body receiver and Donovan Peoples-Jones that's tough over the middle, can catch the football.
Get the 50-50
50-50 balls he's great at. I got Elijah Moore that can run the whip routes, that can run the quick slants, the ins and outs, put him in motion, give him the ball a little bit. He's really fast underneath, and you get him against linebackers, he's going to be running those routes. Now you can get a situation where you got your number one receiver, the route tactician himself. Amari Cooper, you can't stay on him. He's going to be open. He's going to catch the football. And then now you got David Njoku, who's a red zone threat. He's a guy that can work over the middle, who has some speed. We've seen him catch the ball and run away from people. And then you still got Nick Chubb that you still can throw the ball to, and you're going to be able to do some play action with. So everybody compliments everybody right now. Everybody has a little something they can do. And plus, I said David Bell was, he's a 6th round guy. Listen, David Bell will catch the ball. He's great as your 4th receiver. I'd go a little further and say, give me another receiver.
I'd
take another one.
I'd go get Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah.
Now I go get Hunter Renfrow.
Now you
because
contended.
then you have that 3 top, like you may only still have one guy as a top 25 wide receiver, but then you have 3 guys between 26 and 40.
It's like the Patriots route receiver core.
Instead of having that, because I'm with you, I don't call Amari Cooper that true
No, he's not an elite.
game-breaking number one.
Right.
Can he be 5 times a year? Yeah, he can be if the defense is giving him that. But I think what I've decided here is I'll make a baseball analogy, give me 5 doubles, maybe 4 doubles and a triple, instead of 3 home runs and 2 strikeout guys. Yeah. Like this is
right.
a real, if you add Renfrow to this class, I feel like it is really strong with guys that are very capable, professional guys, and the more guys that you have in that ilk, the better you're going to be.
Well, I'll compare it to Jacksonville, right? Jacksonville last year, they brought in, what's the guy they spent? They overspent.
Christian Kirk.
Yeah, they got
Christian Kirk. They went and got Zay Jones.
Yep.
Like Christian Kirk had been a 3. He played better than that, but he had really been a 3. Zay Jones was at best a 3. They traded for Calvin Ridley, who they're going to have this year,
right?
Who's potentially a 1. They already had.
They got a tight end. Did they go?
Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram had a great season.
He had a wide receiver.
They had a good young back in Travis Etienne coming off injury. He played well for them. They had one other wide receiver. They don't have one stud. Now, Amari Cooper's better than anybody Jacksonville has in their passing game. But the rest of the guys are like they decided, hey, we can't get that one superstar, although maybe Ridley ends up being that guy because he was a first-round pick.
He'll end up being their Cooper.
Right. But
you're right, though. That's a great
let's get
analogy.
A bunch of good, solid. We got the quarterback.
Yeah.
We got a good running back. Let's get a bunch of good, competent receivers to put around, and we can just watch it and just pick and
both
choose.
teams have former Clemson quarterbacks throwing the football.
That's right. And
that's a great comparison. I like that a lot.
And right, like, and it gives and it confuses the defense because I got 4 guys, 5 guys. I can rotate them in and out,
know who the ball
keep everybody
to.
fresh.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going.
I like the approach. I really do.
If David Njoku and Donovan Peoples-Jones and Elijah Moore are all somewhere between 700 and 900 yards next year, that's great.
That's phenomenal.
That would be, that'd be really great.
And Cooper gives
Cooper
his
has his 1,100.
Yeah,
whatever,
I would be more than happy with that.
Yeah, I mean that's big time.
That means that
Deshaun's throwing for over 4,000 yards. Yes.
That's getting closer to the Houston Deshaun than the one we saw last year.
I want to see Deshaun throw for 4,500 yards.
I do too. That's my benchmark.
Right? I mean, he's got to be throwing
5,000 is a big ask, but I'll take
5,000. That'd be nice, a bonus. But
give
me 4,500 yards. If you have Nick Chubb, an improved defense, and 4,500 yards from Watson, if he throws for 4,500 yards, it means he got back to what he was.
And I think it's double-digit wins.
Then the Browns are definitely a double.
I need 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big ask.
Hey, listen, that's the it's possible.
That's the
Possible,
that's
but
the,
But if he ends up with 45-82, I mean, that's a good
I'll
year.
take that.
Yeah.
We got Mike.